The press release went live at 9:02. His company was calling it Skynoter, and the photos were my prototype down to the coffee stain on the left corner. My name wasn't on it. Ethan's smiling face was everywhere. Pause. I had known Ethan Torres since junior year at UC Berkeley. We shared a dorm whiteboard and a love for messy notebooks. In September 2022, I built the first working prototype of what I later called Aeronote, a small hardware plus app that could transcribe and tag meeting notes in real time. I remember the exact moment I pushed the first commit to GitHub, September 12, 2022, 22:13 and 5 seconds Universal Time Coordinated. My hands were shaking. I sent Ethan a Google Drive link that same night with the subject line, Aeronote V1 Prototype Docs. He replied at 23:18, "This is sick. We could build this." We pitched together to one mentor, Marco Reyes, on February 15, 2023 at 10 a.m. in his Palo Alto office. Marco's notes have my name across every page. I had wireframes, a functioning demo, and a spreadsheet that forecasted revenue to $1.2 million ARR by year 2. Ethan sat across from me and said, "You should lead this." "I'll help." I trusted him. I introduced him to a mutual contact, Karen Liu, an angel who emailed me back on March 1, 2023 at 9 hours 4 minutes and 22 seconds, "Send me a deck. I have a soft spot for audio tech." I sent my Aeronote deck that same day. Karen never met Ethan then. She was emailing me. So when NoteSky's press release hit TechCrunch on March 4, 2024 with a headline, NoteSky raises $1.8 million for Skynoter real-time meeting capture, I felt my stomach drop. The images in the release were mine. The demo video was literally my prototype doing a demo I had filmed in November 2022. I clicked through the term sheet screenshot they attached. $1,800,000 pre-seed lead investor, Karen Liu. Her quote, "Ethan and team are building what the market needs." My fingers went numb. I could not breathe. Pause. I went into detective mode. I printed everything. I downloaded the press release PDF at 9:07. I pulled my original Google Drive sharing history. The Drive audit showed Ethan had opened Aeronote V1 Prototype Docs on September 13, 2022 at 0:02 and again on February 28, 2023 at 20:11. I pulled my GitHub commit log. My first commit, September 12, 2022, 22:13 and 5 seconds Universal Time Coordinated, was irrefutable. I had timestamps on Slack messages where Marco and I discussed feature sets. I had prototype photos on my phone, img_1823.jpg, with EXAF timestamp November 7, 2022, 14:32 and 11 seconds. Those exact photos were in TechCrunch's carousel. My hands shook as I matched each file. The turning moment came when I found an email thread between Ethan and Karen dated January 22, 2024. In the thread was a PDF attachment labeled Skynoter Pitch V2. The attachment's properties showed it was created on February 28, 2023, the day I had shared the Aeronote deck with Karen. The PDF content was identical to my Aeronote deck, word for word, slide for slide. The last line of Karen's email said, "Excited to move forward. Let's schedule a call with legal next week." My throat closed. I had introduced Karen to my idea. She had been CC'd earlier on my email to Ethan. Ethan had taken it, renamed it, and sold it. Pause. I thought about calling Ethan. I thought about yelling. Instead, I made a list. Evidence. Witnesses. A plan. I had to be methodical. I was angry, but I was also practical. Step 1, fortify my claim. I ordered a certified timestamp from my GitHub commits and the Google Drive audit logs. I saved MD5 hashes of every file. I pulled EXAF data from img_1823.jpg and had a friend at the Media Lab print the originals with notarized stamps. Cost, $380 in fees and shipping. I didn't care. Step 2, play legal chess early. I filed a provisional patent on one of the core methods in Aeronote, the way my device mapped audio timestamps to editable notes. Filing provisional cost me $150 and took 2 hours of filling out forms at midnight. I also drafted a calm, factual letter to Ethan and Notesky's counsel. No threats. No screaming. I hired a lawyer for 1 hour to review it, $400. The letter laid out dates, links, and attached my drive and Git history. It said, "We believe Notesky's Skynoter contains elements of Aeronote. We seek a meeting to resolve ownership." I sent it on March 6 at 8:21. Ethan's reply arrived at 13:02, "Alex, this is ridiculous. We built this from scratch. Drop it." His tone screamed panic, but he still lied. The lawyer recommended we give them 10 days before escalating. I had 10 days to plan the public part of my retaliation. Step 3: Undermine credibility slowly and legally. I started by quietly contacting Karen Liu. I wrote her a short, polite email. "Karen, you called me in March 2023 and asked for the deck. I know Notesky has since launched. I am attaching timestamps and would like a conversation." Her reply came the next morning at 7:46, "Alex, this is messy. Can you forward me the original email thread? I thought Ethan had been working on this with you." I forwarded everything: the March 1, 2023 email, the deck I sent, Marco's notes. Karen replied that she had been shown Ethan's pitch and believed him. She asked for time to review. I offered the time, but I also started a parallel track. I contacted 2 journalists, Maya on TechCrunch and Daniel at The Verge. I did not go to them with anger. I went with documents. I sent them a clean timeline, notarized photos, commit hashes, and Karen's earlier email to me showing she had requested my deck in 2023. I wrote, "I want them to have the full picture if they dig further." I attached nothing libelous. Just facts. Step 4: Launch the public reveal at the right moment. Notesky had planned a customer invite-only demo on March 18 at 11 a.m. at a co-working space on Castro Street. They were going to demo Skynoter to angels and beta customers. Ethan posted the event on Eventbrite at 8 o'clock on March 10. I bought a ticket under my real name and a ticket under Alex Rivera, friend. I also bought a cheap projector and rented a 4K monitor for $120 for the day. I did not plan to interrupt with shouts. I planned to show the receipts. On March 18 at 10:30 I walked into the room. My heart hammered. My palms were damp. I set my laptop to mirror the projector and queued a single PDF, a side-by-side comparison of slides and prototype photos with timestamps and EXIF info. I had an extra USB stick in my pocket with the notarization PDFs. Marco and 2 engineers who had seen my demo months earlier were in the crowd. I sat in the third row and watched Ethan take the stage at 11:02. At 11:12, Ethan started the demo. He was slick. He flashed a slide showing the same IMG_1823.jpg photo. He said, "We started this project in mid-2023. The room clapped. Pause. I stood up. My voice was steady even though my knees trembled. "Excuse me," I said. "I have a short presentation." Security frowned. Ethan scowled. I plugged my projector into the room AV and hit full screen. The PDF rolled. Side-by-side images popped up. On the left, my Aeronote slide titled Aeronote V1 November 7, 2022 with the notarized stamp. On the right, Notesky's slide. Below each image, I displayed the GitHub commit timestamps and the Google Drive audit. I spoke calmly, "These are my commits. This is my prototype." I shared these files with Ethan on September 13, 2022 and with Karen on March 1, 2023. The room went quiet. Ethan sputtered, "You can't just," but Marco stood and confirmed, "I was in those meetings. Alex showed me all of this." 2 other people nodded. Pause. Ethan turned red. He said, "This is harassment." Security, but the damage was done. Someone in the back whispered and pulled up TechCrunch's post. A few people took videos. Karen, who was in the front row, looked like she had been punched. She stood and walked out with her phone to her ear. Within 2 hours, the event was over. Some investors left on the spot. By 15:20, the first journalist, Maya, called me. "We have your documents. Can we run this?" I gave her everything. By evening, the article went live. Allegations of IP theft. Founder claims friend took his startup idea. The piece was factual and attached my document folder. Ethan posted a defensive statement that night that read like a lawyer's script. But the damage was done. Over the next week, investors called NoteSky's lead and demanded meetings. Karen called me on March 25 at 9:02. She sounded hollow. I didn't know. If this is true, I need to talk to my partners. 2 days later, NoteSky announced that Ethan was stepping down as CEO to pursue other projects. Their lead investor gave a terse statement: "We are opening an internal review." The $1.8 million term sheet was put on hold. Several seed investors pulled their offers. I did not get everything. NoteSky kept some servers, some hires, and a customer list. Ethan lost more than his title, he lost reputation. One VC emailed me, "We appreciate you coming forward. We hate being blindsided." Marco told me he felt guilty and bought me lunch. He said, "I should have been more vocal sooner." I cried once at that lunch. My hands still shook sometimes. There were costs. I spent my savings. I couldn't sleep for weeks. My friendship with Ethan was dead. That cut deeper than I expected. People I thought were neutral were suddenly aligned against drama. I lost some customers who wanted stability and didn't want to be near a fight. The provisional patent I filed was still pending. Legal negotiations continued for months. We eventually reached a settlement in August 2024. NoteSky licensed part of the Aeronote tech, issued me a 6% equity stake in the restructured company, and paid $120,000 in settlements and fees. It wasn't the $1.8 million valuation I dreamed of, but it was vindication and money I needed. Ethan's post-settlement mea culpa was short: "I made a terrible mistake. I am sorry to Alex and everyone affected." It read like regret. He lost invitations, trust, and the right to call himself a founder in many circles. The aftermath taught me a few things. First, document everything. Timestamps are your friends. Second, keep your cool. Anger is not a plan. Third, standing in front of a room and showing receipts will humiliate someone more than shouting ever will. Pause. I still wonder about the cost. I got justice in a technical sense. I got equity, some cash, and my name on the patent application. But I lost a friend. I lost time and peace. Every time I open my laptop and see the Aeronote repo, I remember Ethan's smile at 23:18 the night I sent the drive link. I also remember the quiet in that room when the projector showed the timestamps and his face changed. I felt vindicated and empty at the same time. Would you have done the same if your idea was stolen or let it go and saved your heart? Pause.